Hey guys, this is the Put Your Kids to Bed podcast, episode number 3. I'm Jamila.
I'm Michael. Thanks for tuning in.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
We left the last episode kind of at a precarious point. We were wrestling with the question, do your kids actually bring out the best in you? And I think you challenged me on a point of your kids bringing out the best in you, but also potentially sometimes bring out the worst in you because they're able to press the buttons. They know exactly where to press.
Mm-hmm.
And you started talking about trauma, which is a real thing. And
okay. The thing was, they take on the best parts of us.
they what?
They take on the best parts of us.
They trigger the worst parts of us.
Yes, I was just trying to flip that to be.
You try to flip it to be positive, but it's not all positive.
Okay.
It's they have a unique ability to press our buttons.
It was just funny. I was telling you about that earlier. Table.
They take on the best of you,
The best parts.
which are the worst parts.
Yes. Yes.
You said something to me before about like people being a mirror, like the things that you dislike in people being a mirror reflection.
Raw reflections, yep.
I think kids are probably really good at that. Like the things that just irritate us, that just like irk us, and whether you acknowledge it or not, I think like as a parent, you have things about your kids that just like irk you. And I think that's fair. Like, I think we got to stop pretending like, oh, it's all like roses and beautiful, because it's not. It's frustrating, and
It's hard.
it's okay to be frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you flip it to the positive place whenever you're in that, seeing that bit of them that just like irk you? Or do you?
I try to. Hard. The PPP. That's our thing.
The PPP.
But
Patience, presence, purpose.
yeah. But that's with having somebody help you.
To have like
Having your partner help you.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Good cop, bad cop, kind of to bring you back to reality.
Mm-hmm.
But, okay, I wonder, and let me know if you agree with this, or what your thought on this is.
Mm-hmm.
Do the things that irk us about, like, our kids, are they because we is it because we recognize that exists within us? And it's really
Do
like
you recognize it though?
I don't know. I just
Right
wonder
then and
if it's actually irking us, or if it's like this self-hatred kind of thing where it's like you go into your own like pity party and it's not really about them at all. Or is it just about you? Or is it really about the fact that you're just like, oh, I hate that they have that thing that I have?
So it's the self-hatred pity party thing because you really want to heal that part of you. You want to fix it. But what?
Or just like it sends you inward on yourself, where it's just like they do it and then you're just feeling sorry for yourself instead of
Yeah,
trying to heal or trying to address the behavior in them.
that's accountability.
Just make it about yourself.
I feel like you have to do both. Nope, 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 nope. Yes, I feel like you have to do both. But first, you need to heal. You got to fix what that behavior.
Girl, what time? What are you doing all this healing? Where's it at? It's between dinner time and bath time. Where's it happening at?
I think it's constant. Like,
Scabs, maybe, but what kind of
Um,
healing is happening?
no,
Where,
it's
where
like
y'all got room for all that healing?
the whole neural pathways that you can, the new neural pathways that you can create. So,
Is that the 21 days thing?
no, that's habit.
But that's creating new neural pathways, right?
Yeah. But no, just simply, like, say for instance, you're a yeller and your kid does something and you decide not to yell in that moment.
Like,
Yeah. So
what happens when it doesn't work, though? It's like you're a
what
yeller.
doesn't?
You're a yeller. You're being intentional about. I'm not going to yell at this kid. I'm not going to yell at this kid.
Yeah.
And then you make the decision not to yell at this kid. The kid still, like the behavior continues, and then eventually that cup that's like been boiling, and you've been like, eventually it boils over, and then you yell, and then all the work that you did, like you're right back where you started.
Yeah.
Which often happens. I think most.
And then you got to just take that L. You just got to, I failed at that one. Let's try again. But then also, like, how we tell Gib, I'm sorry. And we're like, like, sorry doesn't mean anything if the behavior hasn't changed. Like, we
It's
got
just
to,
words. It's gotta
exactly, like, we got to
And you
stick.
model that.
Exactly.
And that has to do with like expectations too.
I don't feel like we should be putting any expectations
Standards,
on anybody.
whatever you want to say. I mean, that's what it is. That's what, if you're setting a consistent example, those are expectations. Like consistency is an expectation. That in and of itself is an expectation.
What's the definition of an expectation?
Like use the word expect and expectation, but like an expected outcome, like a reliable outcome, like here's
I expect this to
the
happen.
destination. Like,
isn't that like it ties into assumption too?
Somewhat, but it's kind of like it's proven. Like it's something that you can trust. Like I know that.
But you're expecting somebody to have a certain type of behavior.
We're constantly expecting things.
But I don't feel like you should.
But we have here's where I say
should
this.
put expectations
You
on
have a
people.
constant expectation because you have an expectation of what people's reaction is going to be. You have an expectation of how people are going to receive things.
That's based off of trauma.
It's not just based off of trauma. It's also based off of trust. I know that I can come to you with something that's vulnerable because I have an expectation of what your response is going to be based on what you've proven over numerous instances. That's based on trust. It doesn't have to be this negative thing. Like you frame it in a negative way, but
So you're going to expect them to have a certain reaction because you trust that they'll hold you in a certain place.
yeah, a safe reaction, whatever that would be. Or
yeah, but then what happens whenever you don't get that safe reaction?
the same thing that happens whenever other expectations aren't met.
That's why I feel like
There's
you
a processing
you shouldn't be expecting.
Well, if you didn't have expectations, to me, there would never be. You would never have those vulnerable spaces because you have You'd only be willing to open up in places that you're comfortable enough to open up. And the comfort comes from expectations. It comes from an evaluation of.
I disagree.
You don't think comfort comes from that? You don't think vulnerability comes from you having an expectation of safety?
Yeah, no.
Where does vulnerability come from then? If you didn't expect
You can
that you
still
were,
be vulnerable.
if you didn't expect that you were going to be safe, you wouldn't be vulnerable.
I get where you're going with that.
If you didn't
Get
expect,
what you're saying.
if you didn't have an expectation that something that you share with somebody that you can confide in would be private, you wouldn't share. Like, we have expectations for everything. If you didn't expect
You
that when
can't expect somebody to hold a
yeah, you can. When you go to
no.
when you go to the doctor, you expect that they don't share your information with someone else.
But I'm pretty sure they're sharing your information. I'm
I mean,
pretty sure it's floating around.
I mean, the list goes all over the place. I mean, when you get
That comes down to character.
right, but
Like,
you have an expectation based on your belief in a person's character. Like, that is expectation. You got married. We got married.
that would be belief. That
It's
would
an
you
expectation.
believing.
It's an expectation.
See, I feel like okay.
I mean, you can nitpick around the word, but it's an expectation.
I feel like we need to know the actual definition of
it's an expectation. When you got married, you expect your partner to uphold their vows. That's an expectation, and that's a fair expectation.
I feel like that's a trust thing.
Which is an expectation.
I believe in you. No.
Hey Siri, what is the definition of expectation? Hold up to the microphone. A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. No, that is a belief. A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. We make all of our decisions based on expectation. Like, the decisions that we make, that we have confidence in, that we trust in, are all expectations. The ones that
See,
are the huge risk are not based on expectation. Those are gambles. But most of the decisions that we make day to day are based on expected outcomes. You walk across the street whenever the light says walk because you have an expectation that everybody that's driving is going to follow the rules of the road. And if a truck comes out of nowhere and runs you over, that would have defied expectations because they ran a red light and ran you over. We make those decisions because we trust on the outcomes. You get in a car and you expect it to work correctly. You expect your child's seatbelt to work if you crash. I mean, you expect all these things.
But I don't feel like we should be expecting. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, but I think we teach our children belief systems in where to put their trust. And we set the example with that. Because if we teach our children that people aren't to be trusted, then we set them up for failure in relationships and living a successful life. And we do that by modeling, by proving that we can be trusted. And that's the difficult part, because like, apart from me and our children, like, there's nobody in your life that you're gonna have as deep of I mean, obviously your siblings and those things, but that relationship has altered as you've gotten older. Like, at this point, there's nobody that you're gonna have a deeper relationship with, nobody that you're gonna have more interactions with than the people that you live with day in and day out, right?
Yeah.
And so you have countless interactions with your kids, and those interactions matter, and there's a lot of time to fail. You know, there's a lot of times to yell and to like get out of character and to get frustrated and flustered. And so it's imperative that we like don't let those moments overpower the moments where we're doing our PPP, like patience, presence, purpose, where we're allowing them to bring the best out of us, that it doesn't get overshadowed by the worst. But what do you do after the worst happens? Like when you've yelled, when you've let your cup boil over, you've gotten frustrated, like what's the aftermath of that? How do you get back on level ground?
I'm still stuck on this expectation thing.
That really flustered you. Wasn't what you thought it was.
No. It's because from reading the 4 agreements,
There's the first problem. Self-help books.
oh, yeah. I definitely believe it, though. Shouldn't expect, you shouldn't assume. But I feel like it's definitely a thing that you have to step away from, that you have to work on not doing.
I think there's a variety of different expectations, though. The biggest relationship killer is uncommunicated expectations. So, like, if I expect you to put away the dishes every morning or whatever, and I haven't communicated that desire, and then I roll down every morning and the dishes are in the dishwasher still,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be pissed. And I'm pissed off at you for something that I shouldn't be angry with you, and something I might even not recognize that I'm angry about
Because it wasn't communicated.
because it wasn't communicated. And then it just compiles. And then like, you're like, what's your problem? Because you know, and it's just like all those kind of things. Like, and the example I used was probably your example for me, but you know, it could be the simplest of things. It could be, you know, not putting the toilet seat down, or not folding the dry towel that you use in the bathroom the right way, or like not putting your clothes in the hamper, or I'm just listing all the things that I don't do. You know, not putting your shoes away the way that they're supposed to be, or you know, not pushing in your chair, or whatever the uncommunicated expectation is. I think those are the killers more so than expectations of like, I expect for you to be home every day as soon as you possibly can at the end of the day so that we can spend as much time together.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Okay. I expect for, you know, you to kiss me every day before you leave to go to work.
See, but my thing is,
Okay.
I don't think that you should expect that, because people fall short, and
But
because we're human.
But do people fall short because most of the time because they know the expectation, or do they fall short because they don't know the expectation?
Probably both. I mean, if you fell short because you knew the expectation or what your partner wanted,
Then you're human, and that happens.
okay.
I don't think you have to villainize people for falling short. I mean,
But it's based on the partner expecting you to do that thing, and then you don't do it.
but see, okay, there you brought up a point that really for me is, it's about our ability to deal with what happens when our expectations aren't met. And that's an inability to deal with disappointment. And that is a problem. A bigger problem than your expectations not being met. Like, it's okay for your expectations not to be met. It's okay to get disappointed. It's okay to get let down. It's okay. It's okay to be rejected. It's okay. All of those things are okay. It is a normal part of human existence, and it's something that we have to have the ability to work through. That's how we develop resiliency of spirit, and we don't have
Yes.
resiliency because we have a complete inability to deal with anything not going our way.
Yes, but you're going to be disappointed if you expect this person to do whatever you want them to do.
And that's okay. Just as it's okay to have expectations and standards for the people that are around you, it's okay to be
But
let
the
down
only reason
too.
why you're disappointed is because you expected them to do something.
And so we should avoid the idea that we might be disappointed
You
as
can
opposed to
you
having
can
expectations.
you can state what it is that you want to that person.
That is the definition
But
of
you
an
shouldn't
expectation. That is an expectation. I'm telling you what I want. I'm telling you what I expect of you. That's an expectation, whether you
No,
acknowledge it
because
or
it
not.
said expectation was a strong belief.
What did I say? Hey Siri, what is the definition of expectation? A strong belief that something will happen or be the case in the future. Let's see the full definition.
Okay, so yeah, that's not.
Manage expectation is a phrase to seek to prevent disappointment by establishing in advance what can realistically be achieved or delivered by a project, undertaking, or course of action. So the problem is unrealistic expectations, which I think is a real thing. But really what we're trying to do is
But
we're trying
it's-
to manage
Yeah.
we're trying to manage our disappointment. I think that's ridiculous. We don't need to manage our disappointment. We need to learn how to deal with disappointment because people are going to let you down.
Or you could just not fall into the whole disappointment category because you're not trying to expect people to do what it is that you want them to do.
Or what they want to do. I mean, expectations can also be holding people to what they say they want to do or what they say they're going to do. Those are also expectations. Yes, if I say I'm going to take the trash out every single week, that is an expectation that I've set. So you're not going to hold me to an expectation that I set? Are you not going to be disappointed when I set an expectation for myself that I don't follow through on? Of course you are. The whole concept...
that sucks because you're not sticking to your word.
And it's going to be disappointing because you had an expectation.
It's going to be exactly. That's why you shouldn't have an
You
expectation.
can't not have expectations. That's the point. It's not possible. It's not possible. It's not possible. And the whole idea of like managing our expectations is all like coddling our inability to deal with disappointment, our lack of resiliency. It is. It's literally babying human adult people. Let's not hurt your feelings. So don't expect anything because it'll only lead to your feelings getting hurt. And so what if your feelings get hurt? How are you ever going to learn how to deal with disappointment? How are you ever going to learn how to deal with failure? How are you ever going to learn how to deal with rejection? How are you ever going to learn how to deal with not achieving the goals that you've set for yourself if you cannot deal with disappointment? It is a huge life skill. And you're talking about just bypassing it altogether.
You didn't expect anything, you wouldn't even have to deal with disappointment.
If you didn't expect anything, you wouldn't believe in anything. Expectation is belief. Period. Right there.
Expectation is a strong belief. Something.
End of the story. Expectation is a strong belief. So you either expect things and have strong belief, or you have no belief. You don't expect anything. I mean, I know which side I'm picking on that one.
I feel like you should definitely stand true to what you believe in, but not expect others to do that.
I think that's real. I think there's realistic expectations. And I don't think you should push your expectations on somebody else, but I think you can have realistic expectations for everybody. You know, the bar, we're not setting the bar like at the very ground, because then you're opening your life up to people that have no business being in your life. Like you have
I feel like that.
you have expectations for the people that are going to be in your life. You have expectations that they're going to show up. Oh, there's our son coughing. Expectations that they're going to show up, expectations that they're going to be consistent and reliable, that they're going to be trustworthy. Like you have expectations for the people in your life, and that is entirely fair. If you didn't have expectations, then you would just be letting anybody in. And that's not a safe, emotional, mental place to be in. Well, I guess we'll kick it back to you guys. Expectation, which
Yeah.
is
What do y'all think about?
what is an expectation for you?
Do you
What's
believe in expectation? Do you not? Are you 50-50?
Are they realistic?
What's your thought?
Are they of value? What do you think? Write a comment. Send us a message. Let us know your thoughts. And if we're just completely off base. But thanks for tuning in. I'm sure we'll have more thoughtful conversation next time. I hope your kids are nice and tucked in. Ours are waiting for us to climb back in bed.
They don't even know. They're knocked.
Waiting for one of them to wake up. But thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.